Hey everyone, this is Allison with Green Goddess Plants and Seeds, and welcome to another garden chat. I've just got some parsley here that I'm going to transplant. It's ready to go. So it's quite a lovely, warm, beautiful day today. It's already 20 degrees outside. We've had a week of relatively warm weather. It's supposed to continue. The current forecast for Monday is for a high of 28 degrees Celsius. So that's crazy. That's exceptionally warm for this time of year. So I know it's tempting to put our gardens in, but you know that we can still get a late frost happening even with that. So, but that's kind of, I've talked about this before in my previous chats. Still a little bit about weather and the weather patterns, and when you're a gardener, it's something you need to pay attention to. You don't have to become a meteorologist or anything like that, but you do have to pay attention to the weather. Like I said, the first thing that I do when I get up in the morning is I check what's the current temperature, what was the overnight low. And so this morning when I got up, it actually hit 1 degree Celsius at about 5 a.m. this morning. So it's not freezing, but it's pretty close, which is why it is advisable to wait to put your plants out. Like the overnight lows are still kind of on the cool side. They're still kind of borderline a little bit. But the other thing is, the last few years I have noticed that we are getting really warm days, really unusually warm days, really early in the season, like now in May. And then, you know, come July and August, when we actually need that hot weather for stuff to ripen, we're not getting it. So, you know, as the world's climate changes, our own local weather patterns are also changing. So it's something to be aware of, and it's something that not just gardeners need to be aware of, but everyone needs to be aware of that, because that kind of thing affects it will affect food production, right? So but for now, you know what, I'll take the warm weather. I'll spend the days out in my garden. Now I've been working out front and trying to get my 2 beds out there set up. I actually went to the dollar store and bought some cheap dollar store bamboo edging. You know, gardening doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to be buying the most expensive, the most fancy, you know, thing ever. You can just go to the dollar store. You can, you know, repurpose and recycle things. It's always great. So I've been trying to establish these beds out front. They're just 2 long, narrow beds that I can use for basically a mixed bed with both flowers and vegetables. And so I've actually finally got the edging around them, and this will allow me to actually build up the soil a little bit and kind of establish it as a little bit more of a raised bed, where I can just layer the compost, layer like leaves and compost and maybe a little bit of potting soil or topsoil, and just continue that layering in those beds, and then hopefully it'll actually be very productive. So that's kind of what I'm doing today, is just doing different things around the yard, getting different things done. I'm still working at rescuing my lily beds in the back here. I'm also working at getting my pots set up. I've got some bales of potting soil. So the smaller pots, I think I'm just going to fill and get them ready to go, so that, you know, I can kind of take my time. Once they're filled and ready to go, then I can kind of take my time and think about what I want to plant in them and whatnot. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. It's a beautiful day. It's might as well, you know, if we are going to get the hot weather, we might as well take advantage of it and make good use of our time. I know the winters can be long and hard, but it always is so nice to be finally out and about in the garden. So this is just some curled parsley, or moss curled parsley, I think it is. So it's always nice to have in the garden. Actually, the curled parsley actually makes really good. It looks really good as edgings, as edging plants in flower beds. I've actually seen this done, and I've actually done it myself because they get really nice and green and lush, and it actually makes it look really quite attractive. So I'll probably plant some of this out, probably in the front raised bed that I'm trying to establish, and maybe in some of my containers that I have on the patio. There we go. Just put it in there like that, like so. There we go. And I've got quite a few plants of parsley here, so not totally sure where they're all going to go. Some of them will probably go out at the farm. Some will go here. We do dry some for our own purposes. Last year, I actually made what's known as a finishing salt, or a seasoning. Not quite a seasoning salt, but a finishing salt. So a finishing salt is something that you would put on your food after it's done cooking to add a little bit of extra flavor. And so I found this thing on I think it was Pinterest that showed how to do these herbed salts or flavored salts. And basically you take some coarse salt and some fresh herbs. It actually called for fresh herbs. Coarse salt, fresh herbs, and then you whir it up in a blender or a food processor to make it all nice and chopped and fine. And then you would put it in the oven to dry out a little bit, and actually made a really nice salt. I actually did a what I'm calling a Scarborough Fair herbed salt. So basically it was parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. So I put all of those in with the salt, and actually the salt afterwards, once it was all done, was really nice. It had a nice flavor, a nice fragrance to it. So I might do those again this year. Like I actually used the herb salt as Christmas gifts last year, so that actually worked out well. There we go. I just got one more pot here, and I'll have to fill some more. But yeah, there's different things you can do with herbs and like that. You know, I'm always looking for interesting ideas. I know we've been looking at different spice blends that we might be able to make for ourselves. I know last year what we did with all the leftover peppers was we dried them, we put them in a dehydrator, and then we just ground them all up. We put them in the food processor and ground them up into a nice powder, and it made the most wonderful seasoning spice. It was very hot. It was very hot and spicy, but it had a really nice flavor to it. And we threw everything in there. We threw all of the hot peppers. I think even some of the sweet peppers that, you know, we're kind of done. We just just dried them all, threw them all in, and just ground them all up. So last year we had quite a few different varieties of hot peppers. This year not so much, but that's okay. Every year the garden is different, and that's okay, and that's the way it should be. Every year we kind of learn something new. We try different things, and I think that's what I really like about the garden, is that it's a continuing learning process. There's always something new to learn. There's always a new technique or a new method to try, different plants to try. One of the new things I'm trying this year are some melons. Like I've got some chrysanthemum melons that are going to be going on the patio, and then there's some Sharontai melons which will be planted out at the farm. So I think the trick with those is making sure that they are fertilized properly, so they get enough nutrients, but also watered. And I think too, they also probably need some warmer temperatures. So fingers crossed that we actually do get some normal hot temperatures in July. That would be so nice. And I know, like things like peppers, things like tomatoes do need those really hot, warm temperatures in order to ripen. So I'm kind of hoping that we actually get that this year. So far it's been very dry. The spring has been very dry here in Saskatoon. We really haven't had much in the way of rain or moisture at all. I know I actually broke down finally and turned my outside tap on and actually put the sprinkler on the front lawn the other day after I was done raking it, because it was bone dry. And I've got some brush here, some lilac trimmings that I need to burn off, but you know, I'm kind of hesitant to do it, even though I am in the city, just because it has been so dry. I think yesterday we had just a tiny little bit of rain come down, just enough kind of to make the pavement wet, and that was about it. But we've had no rain at all, no moisture. So other parts of the province have. Yeah, so we really do need some rain here. It'd be nice to get that. Yeah, even last year out at the farm, I know they, just after, they no sooner got the crops in, and then they had like a week straight of rain. So like, it'd be nice to have some weather that's a little more balanced, like, a little bit of sunshine, maybe a day or two of rain, but not a week of rain. That'd be awesome. But so a little bit of moisture would be so nice. Really looking forward to putting the tomatoes in the garden. I've got so many wonderful varieties I'm looking forward to trying. And same with the cucumbers and the squash and stuff. And I think I've said this year, I'm trying the silver slicer cucumbers just for myself to see how well they are. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, other than that, it's a beautiful day, and I hope you're enjoying the sunshine as well. The weekend's coming up and it's going to be awesome. So I hope everyone has a chance to get outside and take advantage of the wonderful warm weather that we are having. So until next time, you take care.